Today we're going to talk about some eBay search changes that could affect how much you are selling. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to talk about some changes that have been ongoing for quite some time with eBay searches. Now, this is for what a buyer is going to be looking for. These are the direct searches from the main eBay page, or really anywhere on eBay. eBay has changed how things show up when someone searches for something. Those changes can directly affect your business by limiting the amount of items that will show up. So people that are searching may not be finding your items just based on the category alone that you are listing those items in. So here we are on eBay. I've just done a random search of Star Wars action figure. I just want to find a Star Wars action figure. We'll click search so you can see it, refresh, and see that this is just a specific search. It's all categories. eBay is going to pick the best choice categories when it does this search. So if you wait a second here, once it loads the page, it's going to pick where it thinks these items should be and where the most relevant information for a buyer would be. And that's going to be in action figures under the toys category and TV, movies, and video games. I didn't pick this category. I just picked a random search. Didn't used to be this way. It would just give results based on the terms regardless of the category the item is in. Now, they've also changed another key factor of it, which is what shows up first. Used to be the newest ones would always show up at the top of the screen. Those would be what you would see first. They've also now changed it to best match. Now, why does that matter? Well, let's look at the amount of listings that are showing up here. There's 308,392 listings that show up for Star Wars action figures. By the category eBay tells me that I should be looking in, the one that eBay gives me. Now, I did a search for all categories for the exact same terms, and what I get instead of the 308,000 is 356,000. That's a difference of 13.4%. So if you have your listings in a category other than the movie, TV related action figures, you're not going to be shown to a person when they're looking. This is kind of like a buy box for Amazon in my book. That's what I would relate this to more than anything. So you can see I had to go in here and manually check this off too. Now, some people may not think 13.4% is a bigger deal. Some people also might think that the specific category shouldn't be an issue because most people are going to list it there anyway. Many items that you sell have multiple categories that you can sell them in, especially vintage and collectibles. In the collectibles section, there's a Star Wars section as well that you could list action figures in also. In many cases, different categories can garner you a higher price for certain items. If there's less of those items in some categories, they will sell higher than they would in a different category. We find that happens all the time. Many of the items that we like the best are items that would have a multi-category interest. So they would be shown possibly in 2 or 3 different categories. Let's say I've got a historical photo. It could go in photographs. It could go in collectibles, historical for where it was taken. It could be of a person as well, a specific person who's an entertainer. So it could go in all 3 of those specific categories. That's why it shouldn't be centered in on a focused search for a specific category. Now, this obviously leads me to the assumption that they're going for a catalog like Amazon has, which will bring certain ones up to the top like a buy box. Now, I'm not saying they're instigating a buy box. It would be almost impossible to do it on collectibles, but it may be a way to limit down where people are listing. It also may be a way to eliminate extra listings of the exact same item by 30 or 40 different people. It ties up the system and the whole works. So I understand the philosophy if that's what they're going for, but it's actually hurting people's items. So if you didn't list the Star Wars figure or action figure in a specific category and someone's searching, especially from the phone, they may not be seeing your item. They may just look here at the page, the automatic search that shows up with the TV, movie, and video game action figures, and not even think they need to click anywhere else. It says it's in an action figure category. They would assume it's the correct item. Now, I dug into this and I asked a bunch of people without telling them what I was looking for to see how many total listings they found. The majority of people did not go to all items. They only did what eBay suggested and looked at those totals, and that was it. So that is one huge issue for me, in my opinion. So you really need to take your listings seriously and only list them in the categories that eBay shows on just a random search. Now, I know eBay gives you a recommendation for best choice, or their recommendations when you're listing an item as to where it should go to list. Now, that's not always correct, nor is that the same place that they actually show in some cases when you do a search. So those things don't necessarily sync together. Now, there's another aspect of this too. It depends on the terms you're using. In some cases, it's not 13.4%, it's 30, 40, or even higher percentage of items aren't showing up on an overall initial search on eBay. So here's another search I did just to give you another example. There's 128,250 Star Wars figure. If I look for that term, that's what comes up, 128,000 roughly. And it gives me, again, the same action figure category. Now, I may not necessarily be even looking for an action figure, but yet it is still pushing me into this category. So let's now look at just an all-item Star Wars figure search. This way, we have 191,000. This difference, there's 63,000 listings that aren't showing up. Now, in this case, over 33% of all of these listings are not showing up. They have centered it into this one specific category that they say it should be listed in. So that's the issue here. It's not the correct way to do this. It's not what they should be doing, because it's actually could be detrimental to some of your customers. These numbers are fairly solid from a cell phone. So if someone's looking from a cell phone, chances are they're not even going to go ahead and check at all as to which category the items are in. They're just going to go at the assumption that those are the only ones that they should be looking through or looking at. So in this case, let's say you got 3 items up, they're only going to be able to see 2 of them depending on the categories that you're listing them in. Now with this example, if you listed all 3 of those items in a category other than action figures, TV, movie, and video games, they're not going to show up at all on an initial search on eBay. Now, I know we didn't do anything wrong. There shouldn't be any reason they should be blocking these initial search results in my book. They should not be forcing a best match on anybody. That is steering the sales to specific people that are listing in these categories. Again, we're only looking for a Star Wars figure. It may not even be an action figure we are looking for, but yet that's what they are showing us. Now, I know it can go the other way. You could type in Star Wars figure, and it shows you a bunch of items when you're looking through all categories that aren't related. For the most part, though, the vast majority of the items that you are shown when you do Star Wars figure for all categories is going to be Star Wars action figures. It's the majority of items with that keyword search, so that's what's going to show up. It's still a 30% difference. Anybody new, anybody who doesn't know how eBay works, isn't going to have a clue as well, or won't pay attention in many cases as to what category or being able to select a different category. And as I said on the phone, those searching for the same search keywords are usually vast majority of the time, are going to just go with whatever eBay gave them to look through. So if you're not in that group, you're not going to be shown. This could be a major reason why some people aren't shown or aren't selling as much items, because again, eBay is centering in and forcing a specific category to only show up instead of all categories. In collectibles, this doesn't work because that is not how people search for stuff like this. They could be in many different categories. Now, as you see, they're forcing the best match on you as well. They're not doing the newest first. Anybody who's a collector is looking for the newest items listed to get them before somebody else does. Once the items have been up for a while, in many cases if they're rare or well sought after, they won't be there anymore. They will have sold right off the bat. So for anybody buying collectibles or vintage, for the most part, most people search newest first. So sometimes too, when you change this to all categories and you do a new search to change it for newest first, it goes back in and goes back to the initial category in some cases. So this could in some cases be a major reason why your items aren't selling as much as they used to. It could be the whole initial search that started by anybody. Again, you see the difference. 30% in some categories and some items, I've seen it as high as 42% of items aren't showing up depending on the keywords you use. different keywords a potential buyer is using will determine what shows up or how much shows up or how many listings shows up. Rule of thumb here at this point going forward is always list in the category that eBay automatically shows for the keywords that you are looking for. Otherwise, you are risking not being shown to a large chunk of the population. 30-40% of items not showing up from basic search like this is a huge number and could honestly be a reason why you're not selling as much as you have before and why other people are selling a lot. So pay attention to this. Always use the category that eBay shows when you search for the key terms you are looking for. Only use that category. A huge problem as well with possibility of you not showing up is the fact that other categories besides action figures will garner you more money in some cases. So they shouldn't be locking in the searches by this means. They should just show all items and let the person searching determine on what they want to see from there. Well, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gives you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Hi, it's Marky, and I got my Weeble.